Okay, I believe we now have Rehad Desai on the line, and we are going to speak to him. Rehad, a very good morning. Thank you kindly for your patience. It's been a very, very active morning, as you can appreciate. Now, something that came out of that trailer that we've just witnessed is a statement that says they came here as traders, selling shoes out of the boots of their car, and walked away billionaires. Does this in many ways surmise the life of the Guptas?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, they built their fortunes here. They built their fortunes through the political connections and patronage networks that Zuma put in place for them. And that's why he wouldn't answer many of the questions at the Commission of Inquiry. That's why he walked out. That's why he's now in jail. And his supporters in the so-called radical economic transformation faction of the ANC, a very big faction, have used it in a very opportunistic manner, saying, you know, you see, so he's in prison because he's a Zulu. He's in prison because he's a self-made man. He's in prison because he, along with others, businessmen, were trying to disrupt the hold and power of the big white companies in South Africa, which still run our country, still control the economic levers of our country. Fortunately, none of that is true. You know, they've sparked something. They've sparked a tinder. That tinder's been gathering for many years as inequality's been widening, and as corruption's been increasing.
Now, for those of us that have been monitoring the Zondo Commission or watching aspects of it, are shocked at some of the information that's coming out. But I can only imagine the state of shock or surprise when you carried out the actual investigations, because obviously not all the information has come out.
No, absolutely. I mean, I was following journalists who were doing the investigating. I mean, this is a testament to the tenacity and the strength of our independent media. And, you know, these people were threatened. They were ridiculed, that they were abused on social media platforms. Karima Brown, for instance, when she went to court, she was kicked, and so on. So they've gone through the mill. And they uncovered, you know, the commission, you know, when people started digging, they didn't realize how bad it was. And what's come through in the commission is we're really realizing how widespread it was, how massive this operation of looting took place. This is where the real looting took place. We're talking tens of billions of rands pocketed by the Guptas and the people who facilitated this daylight robbery. It was robbery, corruption on an industrial scale.
Now, some of the numbers that are coming out, certainly from the Commission, suggest numbers in the region of hundreds of millions of rand. But you suggest, I think, well, certainly we picked it up in our trailer, that you think it's as much as a R1 trillion that could have left the shores of South Africa.
That's what it's estimated to have cost the country over a 10-year period. It's not only the corruption, it was the money, the scandals lost, the lack of investment and so on in the country, the lack of, you know, our railway system doesn't work at the moment because of the tenders that went out to PROSA and the conflicts around the security of the railway stations. That's led to our railway system in the most populous province, Gauteng, become completely dysfunctional. There's a cost to that. There's a cost to what's happened to Denel. There's a massive cost to the country of what's happened to Eskom. These have many myriad effects. It was a lost 10 years, and unless our government, Ramaphosa, is willing to step in and do what's required, not only in holding those who are corrupt to account, but also ensuring that the people are put first and center, particularly at a time of pandemic, that our public health is fit for purpose, our test and tracing, that there's no more corruption scandals with the PPE, that the ministers like Zweli Mkhize are held to account. This will continue. We have to, turn the page and turn the corner and do some fundamental things in order to protect our people, advance our standard of living. Unemployment, we've lost 1.4 million jobs just through the pandemic. We were losing jobs hand over fist during the Zuma era. We need the state to step in and provide the stimulus that's required in order to build an inclusive society, because the corruption project, the project of Zuma, the notion that somehow the private sector is a panacea, is a solution to our problems, has not proven to be the case.
Rehad, I have a question, and sorry to interject.
No.
If all of this has cost us a billion rand very quickly in the last 10 years, right? How is it possible that there is almost no one paying the price of all this looting, so to speak? I mean, surely somebody should have been, or scores of people should have been arrested. Or are we suggesting that the Gupta tentacles still have some form of influence?
They certainly do. I think there's two factors at play. The only way that this looting could take place in the form and in the shape and in the quantity that it occurred is through weakening those organs of state that are supposed to hold the politicians and the businessmen to account. So South African Revenue Service tremendously weakened, the Zuma appointee put in place. The SAPS, the South African Police Service, the Hawks, the Special Priority Crimes Unit, the National Prosecuting Authority, all deeply undermined, deeply weakened in order to be able to facilitate the project of industrial scale looting.
Rehad, I'm afraid we're going to have to call time on this conversation. Would love to have carried on. So much to talk about. Rehad Desai, and he's a director of How to Steal a Country. And geez, it just boggles the mind, if you will, the extent. He suggests that almost R1 trillion the country was exposed to, has lost over 10 years.